All right, let's take a look at a fantasy check-in for the Milwaukee Bucks. Michael asks the question, how does Eric Bledsoe project for the rest of the season? And Bledsoe's been a constant source of consternation this season. I thought he could he was a top 20 guy, top 25 player, 23rd overall, 25th the year before that, 17th year before that. I thought he could go back to that top 25. It hasn't been the case. He's 47th this season. He is playing fewer minutes, under 30 minutes per game. And the other thing that's been really dropping off is the steal numbers. On 1.4 steals per game, he was at 2 last season. But over the last 6 games, he's back at 2 steals per game. But then in a trade-off for his numbers, his field goal percentage has dropped. So he's a little bit hard to get a full grasp on. He seems to be getting his minutes limited really consistently, under 29 minutes in 3 consecutive games. In fact, he's top 30 minutes only once in his last 7 contests. He's still played well in that time, and he's had at least 2 steals in 4 consecutive games. There's a lot that's happening here. If the steals keep up and he gets the efficiency back, then I think he remains a top 50 guy for the rest of the season. But that's a little bit of an if, because it's been hard to keep those two things consistent all season. I think that I know that he's been dealing with a couple of injuries, a couple of minor bothers. Now, he hasn't missed a single game this season, but he's been dealing with some hamstring problems. He's been limited at times, and you think Budenholzer, and Budenholzer is just really going easier on Bledsoe as he deals with his hamstring injury, and I think that's somewhat of a concern. I would be buying low on Bledsoe if I can get him as a top 80, top 90 type of a player. I would do that. I think that he can come back to being a top 50 guy who averages 14 points a game, 5 assists, 1.6 to 1.5 to 1.7 steals around that mark, and shoots high 40s in field goal percentage, which is around that mid-round value type of number. And there's no reason that he can't put up a stretch of top 30 numbers for the rest of the season. This is probably the worst Eric Bledsoe we'll see as he's dealing with this hamstring injury at the moment.